Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody is doing well. Put a 1 in the chat if you have seen or heard of this lady, Sadia Khan. If you've seen any of her clips or any of her shorts, or you've seen her at all on social media, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. So recently, as of within the past week or so, she has been outed and exposed for 2 things. The first thing is she was outed for not actually being like a psychologist, fake degrees. There's a lot of fake degrees going on with fake credentials. So apparently that has been suspected of her for quite some time. And it just basically came out as a fact that she does not have the credentials and the education that she says she had. Shout out to Abba and Preach, because that's actually the video that I saw that was really exposing her. And I'm gonna say this: Abba and Preach is a fool. They silly. They is silly over there. But with they laughing and giggling that they do, they're actually quite perceptive. So I think people let that kind of that jovial kind of energy that they have, I think that people be caught off guard with them. But in any case, the second thing that she was exposed for, now this is supposedly a dating coach. This is supposedly, she advises people on relationships and what makes relationships work and all of this sort of thing. And so she got exposed also for being a side chick. Now I'm gonna play the video. Of course, I'm gonna put a screenshot up while the video plays so that you'll be able to just hear the audio. I'm not gonna play the entire thing because Abba and Preach's video is like 30 minutes long. But we're gonna talk about where this grifting come from, because there's a lot of grifting that's happening in the so-called red pill space, the so-called holding women accountable space, the so-called, high value man space, blah, 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 blah space. A lot of grifting and a lot of foolish men. People just looking for a bag, people looking for attention. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. But just to get y'all a little bit more familiar, because y'all probably seen this lady before, but you just didn't know who she was. You may not just know her by name. Okay. So this is her. Okay. This is her. This is her website right here. Okay. So you probably seen this lady different little clips and shorts and TikToks and whatever the case. Now, mind you, this woman that is not married and is a woman, it has a high value man program. I want y'all to let that sink in. A high value man program. There's memberships of 3 months membership for high value men with her 90-day program. What makes men irresistible, maintaining intimacy and passion, setting boundaries, how to select high value women, become a secure, confident partner. This is all what men are supposed to learn from her. Now, as we move down to this here, qualifications. This says she holds a BSc, a bachelor's, I'm assuming, in psychology, a master's in education, a master's. This is key, in education and developmental psychology, a qualified teacher status or QTS, diplomas in psychotherapy, advanced CBT, psychoanalysis, and inner child healing. Her academic training and extensive practical experience. That's rich. Allow her to offer well-rounded and evidence-based guidance. All documents are presented upon booking. Okay, her specializations. Sadia speaks about relationship topics such as red flags and partners, green flags, attachment styles, cheating, divorce, principles of a happy marriage, gold diggers, red pill advice, people pleasing, narcissism, and so much more. You can book a one-on-one or you can book a couple session. You can ask questions, join our Patreon. So she just got a whole little setup right here, right? She got a whole little setup. As we go through here, put in the chat why she's able to pull off this grift. Everybody knows why. Why was she able to pull off a grift talking about red pill knowledge and teaching men how to be high value? Thank you. Thank you. We're going to talk about that part. Thank you. Everybody in here knows why. We're going to talk about that. So now we're going to move to Abba and Preach's video. I'm going to put my little screenshot up just so you can hear the audio. This is just a couple of minutes in. Just listen. You just got to listen because he's interviewing her. I don't know that this was a live stream on their channel. He's showing the conversation that he had with her. Okay.
It's AI Jedrak. I don't know. So now we move on to the cheater infidelity allegations. The one where she's a side piece. Who else has a side chick on this level? Gives them no stress. Told you I'm such a side chick.
No way. No way.
What are you going to do about it? I'll suck it if you have an attitude, and I can do it today if I want to.
Go on.
And I can do it on your wedding day and your birthday.
Okay. Well,
Now, on the screen, I'm gonna let y'all read it. I pause playing it so that y'all can see the screen. What you're listening to now. So this is a recorded conversation between Sadia Khan after she was discovered to be the side piece of an engaged man. His fiance is the one that confronts her. The following screenshots are texts that Sadia and the cheating fiance shared. Okay, so I'm gonna put my little screen back up and let you listen. You gotta listen to what's being said. Matter of fact, if you want to go take a look, this is the actual video.
we'll see.
After.
Okay.
I've been in situations where he's been with you in a social setting. He'll call me after.
And then I asked her specifically about the voice message where she talks about sucking dick very aggressively.
Screenshots and everything, we've actually traced it from Dubai police. They were able to give us the names. I worked with a particular person in 2021. I was in a relationship, but he was really, really into me. He used to always call me, always be like this. He was in a relationship as well. He was like a bit obsessed with me or whatever, but he wasn't in one relationship. He was in like 5-6 different girls. He's a player like in Dubai, successful, those kind of people. And one girl called me and she was just like, oh, by the way, are you talking to this person? And I was just like, what are you talking about? No, I do not talk to him. And who are you to call me and ask him? Like, talk the whole, no, I don't have a memory of this conversation. I only did it when I started digging.
So she doesn't have a memory of this conversation.
But let me tell you more about it.
And mind you, this happened in 2021.
And I said, I don't touch your man. And this is my nature, right? This is honestly my nature. If I wanted to, I could suck his dick on your wedding day. If I wanted to, I could have your man. He's called me when he's in social situations saying, oh, you're so boring without you, blah, blah, this, that, and the other. So I was saying if I wanted to, I could do all of this.
But so just to be clear, in 2021, you didn't have a relationship with this person. You guys weren't.
Never had a relationship with this person.
Now, I had screenshots, but I needed to tie it to her. The screenshots I had a specific phone number on them. We didn't know who that phone number belonged to. The person who sent them in saying, oh, she was my fiance, she claims it belonged to Sadia, but we didn't have proof. So watch this next part.
Also, just to confirm, I was given like 2 different numbers. I have one here. I don't know which one might be yours or maybe like the assistant that says 9749. Is that wrong?
3719?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Do you see the way she said the last digits? Why is that important? That means she has the number in front of her. I didn't say the last numbers. She finished. How would you know that number?
How would you know?
That's a number you use often. She didn't just...
Now, I'm going to pause this for a quick moment. We got to talk about the ability for a pretty woman to beguile a bunch of men out of a bunch of money. And all she got to do is talk a bunch of nonsense and be cute when she do it. The reason why hoes continue to do that and do not reform their behavior is because they do not need to reform their behavior. Because it's 100% gonna work every time they do it. That's why. Pretty hyenas have zero incentive to not be hoes, gold diggers, use dudes, and be on a bunch of foolishness. Because as long as she's cute enough to do it, it's gonna work 100% of the time. She was ganking dudes out of anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 a month, telling men how to be high value men. telling men. And the reason why the men were signing up is her beauty had 100% to do with all of that. Because men, especially in this climate today, want two things. They want to have a lot of money, which they associate with being high value, and they want women that look like her. Maybe not complete aesthetics, but women that they consider to be 8, 9s, and 10s. So if a 8, 9, and 10 tell you, well, 8, 9s, and 10s only go for men that do blase bam. 8, 9s, and 10s only talk to men that blah, blah, blah. 8, 9s, and 10s are only attracted to blah, 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 blah. What are the men going to do? They're going to gravitate to what she's talking about because she got a nice shape and she got a pretty face. She got that little British accent. And she did here in the so-called red pill space what she's always been able to do in men's spaces, which was get into and next to men because of how she looked. Her face card gonna always let her in. And not just her, all of these chicks, all of these fake doctor chicks, we're gonna get into why the fake doctors, why they have to be fake doctors too. All these little fake doctor chicks are cute. Okay? All these fake doctor chicks, they single as the number one. Ain't never had a marriage 9 times out of 10. If they did, it was failed. But the one thing that they have in common is fake accreditation, fake education and degrees, and they're pretty to look at. That's gonna get them next to men 100% of the time. And it's gonna get in a man's pocket 100% of the time. They found a way to get the men's pockets without having to sleep with them, without having to wear the moniker of a whore in order to get this money, without having to wear the moniker of a gold digger, without having to wear those jackets. They don't want to wear those jackets, the whore jacket, the gold digger jacket, you know, the chick that just marry you just for a little bit. They don't want the rich baby mama jacket. They don't want that jacket. I'm just going to be a baby mama to the men that's got money and then get the bag that way. No. See, they found another way. Because that face card, that little waist, and that little booty or whatever they got, gonna get them next to men 100% of the time, and it's gonna get their money 100% of the time. And they do here, she's doing here what women like her do all the time. Before there was a red pill space. Get around men, be cute, and tickle their ears. Tickle the men's ears with what they want to hear. Just tickle their ears a little bit. It don't gotta be true. You don't have to be genuine. You don't have to be authentic. All you have to do is get around these men, bat your eyelashes, be pretty, tickle their ears a little bit, and you're gonna get in his pocket. You're gonna get in his pocket. So women like her, she grifted into the space because she was pretty enough to do it, pretty enough that men would not question what she talking about. See, if you cute enough, you can talk nonsense to men. You can talk nonsense to them. They will entertain it. even if it's bouncing off of them, the prettier you are as a woman, the more nonsense you can talk to the men, and they'll nod and smile with you. So she was able to get into this space to grift because she was pretty enough. She could talk a little nonsense, but all she had to do was mix the nonsense with a little bit of tickling the men's ears. She just pandered to them a little bit. You know, act like she holding women accountable. Act like she holding women accountable. Act like she's on the men's side. Act like she understands how men work and what men want, and that she's down to help you get what you want out of these females, because that's the going thing, right? That men don't get nothing out of relationships, women don't bring nothing to the table, and blah, 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 blah. So all these hoes gotta do is come over here. They can still be hoish in the background and tell men, yeah, you got every right to hold these chicks accountable. Yeah, these chicks should be doing X, Y, and Z. These chicks should be, playing a position and blah, 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 blah. This is what the men want to hear. This is what they want to hear. They will never question her. They will never question her. And on top of that, not only will the men not question her, and I've been a victim of this, the men will turn around and say that any woman that's questioning her is jealous of her. Especially if you're not as attractive as she is. That you're jealous of her. You're just jealous because you don't look like that. You're hating on her. When the women say, this ain't real. Okay. But they eventually start telling on themselves, because the behavior, if you ever, and I was never a big fan of her. I never just sat and watched none of her, but the clips that I would run across, it sounded like some game to me. It sounded like hoe talk. The talk she was talking was hoe talk. This is, you got to be fine enough to get this, to extract these resources out of these men. You got to be fine enough to do that. And then you can, just extract these resources out of these 1% men and the top 2% men and the top 5% men. If you want these kind of men, you need to be able to go over there. You need to do this and do that. Go over there and extract these men's resources. That is not how lionesses talk. Lionesses do not talk like that. We do not make plans to figure out which part of our femininity or sexual attraction or whatever it is that we have that can be alluring to men, how to just get to them to extract their resources out of them. I am not going to say not all. I don't do it for the women. Nobody has a problem. Nobody has a problem when I say these women and I don't qualify it. When I don't qualify it and I just say these chicks, nobody comes and says, please don't paint all the women with one brush. Nobody says that. So I am not going to be sitting here trying to parse out which men and which percentage of the men. If you not that guy, then you not that. I'm not talking to you. She was talking that whole talk about a year ago on soft white underbelly, which was actually par for the course, because soft white underbelly usually interviews like prostitutes and drug addicts and pimps and people that have had trauma and things of that nature. So it was interesting that he did an interview with her about a year ago, and she was talking that whole talk. It was whole talk to me. I'm like, this is whole talk. This is upper echelon whole talk. And that's not a shot to soft white underbelly. He has made a tremendous platform, because you're not going to see a whole lot of platforms where people's raw truth is actually being told from. It's a reason why his channel is called The Underbelly, because that's who he's talking to. The people that would be considered in the underbelly of society. The quote unquote low lives of society, or the dregs. The people who fell between the cracks. We're gonna go back. What I want to do, I want to take a quick break, and then we're gonna go to the false accreditation, and we're gonna talk about the false degrees and what that's really about. But after these messages, we'll be right back, because I need you all to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. If you want to keep your skin feeling smooth, looking smooth, smelling good, all nice and moisturized and gleaming in the sun, then you definitely need this body butter that's on your screen from ashkicking.com. Once again, the link is pinned to the chat. If this is going to be your first order, take 10% off using the promo code Crimson at checkout. Once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Oh, you guys are bam, 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 bam. You gotta hit the like button. Bam, bam. You gotta go ahead and hit the like button. Thank you, Thanos. You weren't a member before, I could have swore. But thank you so much for becoming a member, sweetheart. I appreciate you.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
Thank you. Terenzo said whole loss of memory they call a blackout is code for purposely forgetting they actually know and remember everything. Thank you, Lawrence. At Crimson, you should do a show with River. You two ladies are my favorite YouTubers. That would be legendary. Yeah, I want to get in touch with River and do a show with her. She's definitely on my radar. Do not coddle Steven. Is he even subscribed to my channel? I'm not about to argue with no bot. Not about to argue with that. Because I don't coddle the females at all. I don't coddle the females. Well, then if you subscribe, then you know how I talk. So just because I started talking about the men, don't get sensitive. That's what we not gonna do. If you subscribe to me, then you know how I talk. So getting all sensitive about you gotta say what percentage of the men you talking about. No, I don't. Absolutely not. Thank you. Because I've said hyenas and lions plenty of times. Plenty of times. So where were you when I be talking about the difference between lions and hyenas? Where are you then? Where your comments at then? Wouldn't have said a peep had I said all the women do this and all the women do that. You ain't never heard. Get out my chat room. Bye. Get out. Get that bot out of my room. Now, why do these chicks get in here and tell us that they have degrees that they do not have? These are typically women that are pretty enough to gain access to a wide range of men. And if they've been pretty their whole life, they've always had access to men. They've always been able to get into men's spaces and get into men's faces. Okay? If they're good-looking women can always get around men. Okay? Get out. Get out. Okay? Good-looking women can always get into a man's face and men's spaces. So these are women who have always had access to men, right? They're pretty enough to do so. So what's with telling everybody that you got a master's and you got a doctorate and you got a this and a that and a bachelor's and da-da? What's with trying to tell everybody that? Because if Sadia had never said that she had credentials she didn't have, this wouldn't be such a big thing. But the constant doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on, I got this degree, I got that degree. So you need to respect me. Respect. Because I'm going to give y'all a flip side that people don't talk about. Pretty privilege among women. The women who are pretty, the 8s, 9s, and 10s of the world, are quick to tell average women, the 4 or 5s, the 6s of the world, that they are just jealous of them being able to get around men all the time, get the men that they want, be able to pull the men that they want, You know what I'm saying? And it's not a difficult task for them because they're pretty enough. They're being sought after anyway. So when they give men attention and they're pretty enough to get the attention of that man, then this is something that they take pride in. And they'll tell average or unattractive women, or, you know, women who are not objectively pretty, they'll try to tell them, well, you know, you just, I mean, it is what it is. We fine and you not. You know what I'm saying? We baddies and you not. So we live a different life than you. We exist around men differently than you. Thing about that is, that's true. They do exist differently around men than average women, you know, slightly unattractive women or things of that nature. Flip side of that, though, is oftentimes these same women are unable to get the men to see or acknowledge anything about them other than their beauty and their sexual attractiveness. In other words, these same women, while gloating that they're able to go around, move around these men, and the men want them, they are also curious and don't know and don't understand how more average looking women deal with men. How is it that these women that don't look half as good as me are able to still maneuver around these men, and these men will love these women, they'll be around these women, they'll, you know what I'm saying? I got all this fine. The thing that they don't understand is that when you're, as a woman, when you're not in the 8, 9, 10 category, yet you have other qualities, you know, you're intelligent, you can have a conversation, you got a decent personality on you, and things of that nature, men often will give to the average woman what he won't give to the real fine woman, and that's respect. He will often give the less attractive yet more engaging woman respect, because her beauty is not blinding to him, because she don't have blinding beauty. So because she's not excessively pretty, his mind can now get around it. And now he can talk to her. And if she's intelligent, if she got a brain on her, again, she got a good personality, a good disposition, and things of that nature, he'll respect her. These women are accustomed to being around men that actually want to engage with them in a non-sexual way. In other words, the men can see them for being people and will interact with her like she's a person and not just this fine body that he want to have sex with. Those women, for a large majority, have not really experienced that part of the interaction and interplay between men and women, because their interaction has been based largely upon the men's sexual attraction to them. But on the flip side of that, the men rarely engage them other than that, or beyond that, or see any value beyond it. Because not all of the pretty women are like this, but there's a large majority of those women that have not worked on their internal, their personality and stuff like that, because they have not had to. Their looks get them in the door. and it gets them what they want. So she hasn't had to develop a lot of, great conversation and great personality and great, you know what I'm saying? She don't have to be great in those areas because she's great here. No man has ever actually required it of her. It was enough for him to be around her and have sex with her. Now, once that mystique wear off, because it will, and he realizes there's nothing a whole lot underneath that, she do kind of got a bad attitude. She do act a fool. She act a fool all the time, actually. Getting sick of it. Okay? Once he get to that point, then it's like, well, I don't really want to be bothered with her. On to the next. Because you wear you thin. Okay? You be wanting and hoping and wishing that the inside gonna match the outside because the outside fire. But the inside ain't for the majority of the time. She's been pampered. She's been prissy. Men have been kissing her butt because she fine. Men have been kissing her butt because she fine. She been able to get away with shenanigans because she fine. She been able to get away with talking crazy because she fine. She been able to get away with not, you know what I'm saying, with not reciprocating in a relationship because she fine. So the fake degrees are put up there so that she can get the one thing out of men that she has not experienced. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to know exactly what that one thing is. The one thing that she has not been able to get from men out of her interaction with them is for them to care what she say. That's the thing. The men don't care what she think. They don't care what she think. There's no credibility to nothing that she say. So if she can get into these spaces, the only way that she can get men to even halfway give her a nod on what she said is if she tells them that she's a doctor or she's got a master's this way and she went to go and get her education. So despite what she looks like, there's a brain under here because she's never experienced a man appreciating her for both her attractiveness and her in-depth thought, because she don't got that one. She never had to have it. So she's never experienced interacting with men in a way where they respect what she said. So I gotta come around you to say that I got a degree here and I gotta convince you of it. Even though I'm not gonna be able to produce those degrees, I'm not gonna be able to back up what I'm saying and who I say I am. I want you as men to respect my brain and respect my intellect and respect my depth of thought. Something that she's never experienced men to respect from her, or to either respect or expect. In her dealings with men, the men for the most part don't even expect her to have this, these deep thoughts and ability to articulate these deep conversations. He don't even expect it from her. Because of how she looked, he don't expect it. Listen to her try to defend that she ain't got these degrees. We gonna skip the side chick stuff because it is insane that she's giving all of this relationship advice about what makes relationships work. Do you being a side chick make the relationship work or not? A belligerent side chick at that, trying to cuss out the main chick. You should have just hung your head and hung that phone up. No, you trying to go toe to toe with the main chick after you got bust out. She called you, and now you got, you talking slick at the mouth over the phone and through text messages. You talking spicy. You spicy. After you've been messing with a man with a fiance, now you spicy. Why is she spicy? Because she always been fine enough. I'll take your man. She just said it. I suck his if I wanted to, if I wanted to call him over, and she talking like a hoe. That's hoe talk. That ain't hoe talk. Hoes tell you that. Hoes quick to tell you that. Hoes is quick to tell another woman that they feel ain't as fine as them and shouldn't even be pulling the kind of men that would talk to her and they feel like they above her. She quick to tell that woman, I'll take your man. I'll do this to him. I have him spending a bag on me. I have him doing it. They quick for that. They real quick for that. That's whole talk. It's hoe talking. She got to talking like a little spicy hoe. Y'all take your man. I guess she figured that other lady wasn't fine as her or whatever. That's a hyena's go-to. If she talking to a woman that's checking her and she feel like she fine, that quote-unquote ugly woman shouldn't be able to check her. Because as soon as she don't like what that quote-unquote ugly woman said, she gonna call her ugly. And she gonna be trying to talk about how she could take her man and this, that, and the third.
My first qualified, I did. It expired. I didn't renew it because I was now online and I wasn't working in clinics. And in clinics, you need a DHA license.
I guess my question is, have you ever really had a DHA license in Dubai?
I started applying for it, but then my career took off.
That's not what she said. She said that it expired.
Her eligibility expired.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay because it's still not good for her because she emailed somebody in 2023.
This is my DHA license. I need an official apology from yourself and copy of your license.
So she used to claim that she had, but she just said she never got one. She started applying, but she didn't get it.
Yeah.
So she's been out here. And again, there's going to be a running theme. You're going to see how her words conflict with her history. But let's keep watching. If you're a health practitioner in the Emirates, you have to have a DHA license. If you don't, it's illegal and they can come after you. So She's definitely fraudulently claiming behind the scenes that she has a DHA license, but
So that means that right now,
I checked the registry. She's not there at all.
For the CBT, because I remember seeing that certification. That one was from where exactly? Was from the Center
of Excellence.
Okay, got it. So I know you got your BCS from University of London. Is there also a master's?
Yes. Well, I have a master's. I have a master's in education, and there's a University of London qualify as a QTS, and that means that you can become.
Now, remember when we went to her website? It is on her website that she has a master's in education. So that is still currently, as of today, as of September the 5th, 2025, that is still on her website. She repeats this. Because the tall one is ABBA, right? The tall one is ABBA.
Teacher. And you can feel free to check it or anything like that. Hopefully my name should come up.
Was your master's at UCL ever on your website, or is there any of it online? That's what I guess I'm asking.
Okay, I need to pause it. You're gonna notice when I ask her a question, she's very as a con artist, she's very good. I ask her about her master's. She says, yes, I have a master's, and I also have a QTS. QTS, I have a number, you can look that up, blah, blah, blah. So she's just firing. But I know you don't need a master's to get a QTS. QTS just means you're a qualified teacher. That's it. But here's the thing. If you're an educated person and you have a master's degree, which is your highest form of education for her specifically,
you're going to show your master's.
You're going to start with that.
Yes.
I don't ask a nigga who's a doctor for the education and they're like, here's my high school diploma. No, you show me your PhD. I don't need to see your bachelor's. She never produced it. I asked her an email 4 or 5 times. She sent me every certificate. I asked for the UCL. She ignored it. So it's on her LinkedIn. She claims she has a UCL degree, a master's. Nowhere. This is important. You can't become a psychologist unless you reach a certain level of education. And master's is not necessarily enough depending on where you do your master's. No, I already know she's not a psychologist because she doesn't meet the threshold to be able to even apply. Okay, that's one. 2, remember she mentioned that QTS thing. Mm-hmm. You see this email where it says this is my DHA license? Mm-hmm. This is the number that she had in that email about the DHA. Mm-hmm. QTS number again. Mm-hmm. Qualified teacher status. What the fuck does that have to do with DHA?
No, it doesn't.
You see how she does the same thing? Yeah. When asked about something specific, she uses a number from a completely different certificate. Yeah. That's the running thing. She's a pathological liar in that she will just crisscross all of her lies to avoid talking about what you want to talk about.
Right. Just lying. Just sitting up there, just lying like a rug. I'm asking you about a master's. You get to talk about a qualified teacher's certificate. Girl, don't nobody want to hear about that. I asked you something very specific and you did not want to produce those credentials. You did not want to bring receipts because anybody that spent that much time doing that much education, graduate school and all of that type of stuff, that is a lot of school. That is a lot of years. That is a lot of money. This is why when people get a master's in anything, they display that prominently. They talk about that incessantly because of the amount of life that they gave to that, all of the time that they gave to that, all of the sacrifice that they made for it. There's no way that you will ask a person that has gone so far as to earn a doctorate or a master's or any high degree like that, and you ask them to produce their degree, they are not going to hem and haw about producing it. Boom, here it is. They're going to put it all in your face. There will be no question. They are not going to talk about any other qualification, certificate, or anything else that they may have earned. They are not going to talk about that over and above the highest educational degrees that they have earned. Yet she's sitting up there lying through her teeth about what kind of degree she got and what kind of degree she don't, and all of this other type of stuff. Oh, and you can check it if you want. We are trying to check it. I'm not trying to get back with you. We're not trying to circle back around to it. I want you to produce it right there. Because if you got it, you got it. I have not earned a bachelor's or anything like that. My highest educational degree that I completed was a high school diploma. And if you ask me for it, I got it. It's right there. Graduated high school 2 million years ago, when pterodactyls was flying through the sky. And I still got it. It ain't nothing but a high school diploma. That's all it is. It don't get you nothing. It don't help you nothing. The high school diploma don't help you with nothing. And I still got that. So you mean to tell me you can't produce a master's degree, girl, if you don't get up out my face? The other thing is, the other part of the scam is all these folks coming through here to try to talk about what a relationship is, what it's not, what you should be looking for and what you shouldn't be looking for. And ain't nobody got a successful track record of relationships at all. When you get to digging around and asking questions and stuff like that, they get to getting vague. Now they say everything with their chest, just like Cheyenne Bryan, Miss Cheyenne. When Paul Pierce got to asking her about the relationship and the this and the that, now everything else she said it with her whole chest, and I said what I said and all that kind of stuff. But when he got to start asking her about, well, how is your own advice, knowledge, understanding, or whatever things that you've internalized, how are the tools that you suggest for other people, how are they working for you? That's basically what that is. How is it working for you? Then she wanted to start molly trotting all the way around everything. And just for a couple of years and off and on, and and he not ready, and it was all these mealy mouth excuses about why she ain't got no man. Then when you keep on asking questions, now you in their business, and that they got a private life. Granted, you do have a private life, and you have a right to that privacy. Just because you are a public figure or you a social influencer or whatever the case, that doesn't mean that the audience that you speak to has a right to know every intricate thing that happened in your private life. However, if you are trying to come across as an authority on a particular thing, then you need to be able to have applied at least some of what you know. If you are a person that is giving financial advice about how to get your finances correct and how to have financial literacy and how to invest in this thing and invest in that thing and grow your money, you don't want to hear nobody out the projects talking about growing your money. You don't know how to grow money. Okay? You don't know how to do that. Because if you knew how to do that, you would do it. And then we would just copy the blueprint that you laid down. This is why people be saying, do you want $1,000 or do you want, an hour dinner with such and such a person that has already retched financial success or wealth or whatever the case may be, and people be saying, I want to talk to that person, because you want to understand what that person's thought pattern, what their mind is like that led them to the success. You can't teach what you don't know. You cannot successfully teach what you don't know. I cannot teach nobody how to ski. I ain't never donned a pair of skis in my life. I've never been on a slope. I don't know the first thing. And me reading about skiing does not replace the experience of skiing. So I could read all day about what it's like to ski down a slope, and the mechanics of the skis, and the mechanics of how you're supposed to go, and the mechanics of how you're supposed to stop. And I can read that all day. Unless I do it, it's theory. It's theory to me until I do it. And I would be foolish to read a couple of books about skiing, watch a couple of YouTube videos about skiing, and then talk to somebody that's been skiing for the last 15 years about skiing. I'm going to look like a fool. Because they just going to look at me like, when was the last time you actually skied? But now, I ain't never really skied. So what are you talking about then? Huh? And you can apply that to anything that you don't know and that you don't understand, things that you have not done and don't know about. You cannot come to somebody that do that thing or know about that thing and tell them about that thing. You can't do it. Not and not look like an idiot. How you gonna tell somebody? So it's a lot of men and women that have gotten on this internet talking about relationships that they have never been in. Talking about what marriage should be, and ain't put a ring on nobody's finger, nor had nobody to put a ring on their finger. They have not exchanged no vows. They ain't did nothing but be baby mamas and baby daddies and live together in turmoil. And now they think they can get online and tell somebody about what a marriage is. And then when people who have experienced marriage, especially successful marriages, then they was want to look at you stupid. Like, when that ain't how it go out here. How do you know? How do you know? You don't know. You don't know. All that you know is these situationships and these baby mamas you dealing with. That's all you know. And these hoes you out here dealing with. And these little scumbag Negroes that you out here dealing with. That's all you know. That's all you know. That's what you know. Talk about that. Don't start talking about things that you have not experienced, and would sit up and say that you don't want to experience. It ain't worth experiencing. Okay, fine. So stop talking about it. And it's particularly these female grifters just come to these spaces to get attention from men and money from men. The pretty ones want the money. The not so pretty ones want the attention. So they get up here and pander to say the most ridiculous stuff and pander to men. And they get in a bag too. And this way they get to talk to a bunch of men because they ain't never been able to talk to a bunch of men. And even the ugly ones ain't never been in no meaningful relationship either. They single as the letter A. And want to tell somebody what it takes to get a man. It take a lot for you to get one. Take a lot for you to get one. I guarantee. Because running around here a whole Sasquatch. And then want to be spicy when you talk. Thank you so much, Bakish, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Passport. Said waiting on a Britney fake Muslim renter rose. It's coming. It's coming. I've seen her antics as well. That's another one. Fine, so she can act a fool. She act a fool there well because she still get access. And don't nobody really want to check her because they want access to her too. So she's allowed to get away with a bunch of foolishness. You know, but PJ ain't with her no more, so he tired of her. So, you know, it don't really affect him like that. He tired of her. And folks seemed like they weren't real interested in that video. I thought that was extremely interesting. Take mine her foolish man. But I'm going to go ahead on and get off of here. Y'all jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host of The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.